Hi, welcome back to our channel. This is Teacher Cedric. Let us look at another PSLE problem, but this time on ratio word problems. But before that, let us look at a quick example to help us set the idea straight. Here's the example. Given that the number of boys and the number of girls are in the ratio of 2 to 3, and after 10 girls enter the classroom, the ratio has become 1 to 3. Now, can you find me the original total number of students? You can pause the video now and give it a go. Let's see how we can solve it. Well, you might notice something strange. Is that even though 10 girls join the class, over here is 3 units, and over here is also 3 units. That doesn't make sense. And on top of that, previously I have 2 units of boys. Now even though nothing has changed on the number of boys, it has become 1 unit. So we know there's something wrong with this ratio. What's wrong with this ratio? It tells us that the quantity, the number of students corresponding to 1U are not the same in the first ratio and the second ratio. So how can I fix that? Well, let's see. Well, in the beginning, we can see that the number of boys to girls is 2 to 3. So that at the end, the number of boys, the units, should also be the same because the number of boys are still the same. So it should also be 2 units. But then, I multiply this number by 2. Can I just leave this number to the right? The answer is no. I would also have to multiply by 2. So then now I get 6. And now everything makes sense. Because now I can see that an increase of 10 girls corresponds to 3 units. So 3 units 10. And haha, we have already solved this problem. 3 units is 10. Then I can know 1 unit is Hi, welcome back to our channel. This is Teacher Cedric. Let us look at a ratio word problem from PSLE. But before we solve this problem, let us start with a short example to help us set the idea straight first. Over here, I have the number of boys to girls in the ratio of 2 to 3. And after 30 girls enter the classroom, the ratio has become 1 to 3. And now, pause the video now and find me the total number of students in the beginning. Let's see how we can solve it. Well, you might notice something very strange. Is that even though 30 girls enter the classroom, in the beginning, 3 units. At the end, also 3 units. That doesn't make sense, right? And on top of that, we can see that even though there's no new boys joining the class, the number of units of boys has reduced to 1. So something must be wrong with this 2 ratio. What's wrong? Well, the wrong part about this 2 ratio is that the quantity corresponding to 1 unit are not the same for this 2 ratio. So what we can do? Let's try to fix it. So in the beginning, I have 2 to 3. And after 30 girls join the class, we know the number of students should stay. So the number of students of boys should stay the same, which is still going to be 2. Which means I'm multiplying this number by 2. But can I just do that to the first number without the others? No. So I would also have to multiply this by 2. So then now I get 6. And now the problem is solved. We see that first of all, the total number of boys remain the same, the units remain the same, and then an increase of 3 units in the number of girls correspond to 30. So I can find out 1 unit to be 10, so that the original number of students, which is 5 units, is nothing but 10 times 5, which is 50. So before you do anything on a ratio word problem, you need to check whether the quantity corresponding to 1 unit in 2 different ratios are the same. And if not, you will have to make them consistent first before you move on. So now understanding this, let us move in to the question of the day, question 5. So the number of boys and girls in a hall in the beginning is 2 to 5. And after 11 boys enter the hall and half the number of girls left the hall, so plus 11 minus half, then the ratio of the number of boys to girls suddenly become 1 to 1. So now you tell me how many children were there in the hall at the first place. Again, you can pause the video now and try it out yourself. Now let's see how we can do this. Again, let's first check whether the quantity corresponding to 1U is consistent. Is that it? No, because over here is 5. If I take away half of it, how come it can be 1? What is half of 5? 2.5, right? However, do I want to change this ratio into, 2.5? Well, we don't like to work with decimal in my ratio, so what can I do? Well, I can change the first ratio by multiplying by 2. So now this gives me boys to girls in the beginning 4 to 10. And now if I multiply by the same number to both numbers in the ratio stays the same. So now 4 to 10. And now if the girls decrease by half, then I should get 5U. And then since in the end, the number of boys and girls is 1 to 1, meaning that they must be the same, so the boys would also be 5. So that we can see the increase of 11 boys correspond to 1U. An increase of 1U correspond to 11. Then now, how would I figure out the total number of students in the beginning? Well, over here in the beginning, there are 14 units. So 14 units is equivalent to 11 times 14, which gives me 154. So that's the final answer to this problem. Again, whenever you can see that the quantity corresponding to 1U is different, then the first thing that you have to do is that you have to try to make them consistent first. Make them consistent. Then only you can solve the problem. Then only you can proceed with the questions. Because if not, then the units are not the same. You're not going to get the answer. So that's the main takeaway of this problem. Now, if you'd like to learn more about our PSLE class, make sure you scan our QR code and join our study group. And you can also book a free PSLE diagnostic test with our teacher if you join our study group. So that's it for today. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.